How many of you have faced the thought of having imposter syndrome? Just know that it's totally normal and natural.
When you recognize what's going on, when you have the awareness, you'll interrupt that mind math from creating a result that you don't want. Nothing has gone wrong because the fear-based thoughts show up. You're learning to not react to them.
Are you feeling stuck, lost, tired, or uninspired? We've all been there, including myself. I'm Coach Des, mindset motivator and lifestyle entrepreneur. I'm here to tell you that the best, unapologetic, and limitless version of yourself is yet to come. The Born Unbreakable podcast is here to inspire just that. With motivating guests from all different walks of life and around the world, their stories will empower you to unlock abundance and your unbreakable spirit. Do you need accountability? Reach out to me for a free consultation of how I can support you in reaching your maximum potential.
Hey everyone, it is Coach Des here, host of the Born Unbreakable podcast, and I am launching Born a Boss Babe 90-day transformational program starting in August. And I'm looking for 18 to 24-year-old young, confident women who are ready to step up and excel in life. What is the biggest difference of somebody like an Oprah or a LeBron James? It's having that mentorship and coaching. So if you're ready to supercharge your life, hit me up, des@bornunbreakable.com for more details. Hello and welcome to the Born Unbreakable podcast. I'm your host, Coach Des, and this is the series where I get out of my hosting seat and into the coaching seat. So this is session 3 that I am doing with my friend and life coach, Tracy Pleschourt. And I got to tell you that leading up to these sessions, because now I'm in a routine of doing them, I look forward to them because this is real life. These are my real feelings and emotions that I'm processing in real time. And what I hope for you as a listener to get out of this is that you can sit with yourself and go through these moments too and know that this is the human experience and it's all part of us working to become better people and people who are self-aware of the things that we are experiencing instead of running away from things, running towards them so we could tackle them with more confidence. So, hey, Tracy.
Hey there. Thank you for having me back. I'm so excited to hear what has happened since the last time we met.
Yeah, I feel, it's like, I know it's only a week in between when we chat, and I feel like it's a month with the amount of things that are going on.
Yeah.
And it really struck me that what I'm feeling is this sense of imposter syndrome because of all of the new things that I'm taking on. Launching a program this month for women that's new. So I'm going through, updating my website, putting the program information on there, like going through the whole how to develop a program successfully. And then writing this book, which we've talked about before. And I'm more immersed in the actual lessons now. And I'm totally a student again, rejiggering my schedule, realizing that, oh gosh, every single day I need to dedicate time to studying and writing, which is like new for me because I'm used to doing what I was doing and now I need to get used to a new schedule. And then real estate, I'm starting a rental operations business. And so I'm in the midst of selling a property and buying a property. And it's such an interesting market to do all of this in. So the complexity and the time is also very high. All of the things right now in my head, I go to like, oh, that should take no time at all. And then I find myself getting into what I'm doing and I'm like, holy shit, this is like, this is hard.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have this sense of imposter syndrome because I'm like, wait, I'm good at things. And I feel like this is just so much work, all this work.
Yeah. Oh, I'm guessing there are a lot of people that can relate to those thoughts, the feeling of like inadequacy or who do I think I am, right? That imposter syndrome. And I do want to give you credit for recognizing that that's what's going on. Recognizing that, this is a form of self-sabotage. And if you don't recognize it, if you don't notice the thoughts and feelings, they will create some net negative results for you, results that you probably would not intentionally create. So you have an awareness around it. When you have awareness around it, you can be intentional. Without the awareness, it all transpires in an unintentional way. So I want to just really shine a light on the fact that you've noticed that imposter syndrome is showing up. The likelihood of self-sabotage happening to any or all of these three big endeavors that you are engaged in is slim. When you recognize what's going on, when you have the awareness, you'll interrupt that mind math from creating a result that you don't want. Okay. So that's a good place to be. Now I want to normalize it. Okay. You've noticed it. Now let's normalize it. Doesn't it make sense that you, as Coach Des, who operates a business day in and day out, you've overcome lots of obstacles to get where you're at today. You have this identity, this sense of, who you are in the role that you now claim as a coach, but you're starting to step into an identity of, a real estate person who owns different real estate, a program builder, a new program builder, an author. And so what would somebody who's not only taken on one of those roles, but would take on all three at the same time, what do you think they would be feeling? What do you think they would be thinking? They're probably not thinking, I've got this. This will be easy. Right? They're probably also thinking, wow, I've never done something like this before. This could be challenging. I don't know what to expect. This is a lot, right? And so I want you to normalize the fact that this imposter syndrome, these fear-based thoughts are coming up. Because what I hear you doing is you're judging yourself for having those thoughts.
Yeah.
Do you see
it's
that?
True.
Like,
it is.
I've done all these things. Why, this shouldn't be hard for me.
Yeah. Like what? I mean, gosh, I've done for 2 decades, figured out this coaching, consulting, and business, and come on, this is just another thing. And then I'm realizing sometimes when I do pause the process that I'm going through of getting the right people around me to gain confidence, having a writing coach, having you to talk to is tremendous in this, because it is pushing me to take a moment and have reflection, which I do often think we don't do, because we just want to charge through and get the things done.
And compassion, compassion for yourself, that these are all new endeavors. And so if you were trying to be objective and you took a huge step back and you asked yourself, what would I see somebody who was actually engaged in something identical, who was taking on writing a book, starting a new program, and investing in real estate all at the exact same time, while, oh, by the way, continuing to keep my business, my podcast, my coaching company, my clients happy, all at the same time? What would that person be thinking, feeling, doing? And to your point, they probably would do exactly what you're doing. They would start to surround themselves with support, right? So you are doing that. I want you to reverse architect it though, so you can really breathe into this new identity. Yes, you're doing the things, but what is that person feeling? That person who is creating this team of support for themselves, what are they feeling?
Yeah. I mean, I know that as I go through each step, I'm feeling a little scared
Mm-hmm.
because it's new and it's different.
Mm-hmm.
But I also feel excited
Mm-hmm.
because I start thinking of all the possibilities. Like when I'm looking at properties, I'm like, ooh, and this, oh, and that'll be fun. That'll be interesting, and then I go back to like, oh gosh, and then I have to do all these steps to get there,
Yeah.
So it is both of those things
Mm-hmm.
where I feel scared, but I feel the excitement when I start envisioning
Yeah.
what things will look like as I continue to go on the journey.
Yeah. Are you willing to feel scared? Do you know that it's
Yeah.
part of the process?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes I do have to sit with it.
Mm-hmm.
And like this morning, I almost was like, let me just go right back into my work with my modules, because I have my meeting with my group this afternoon, and I don't want to be that person that's behind. Like, you didn't finish the homework, you're that person that's like a slacker. And I was like, oh my gosh. And so, but then I was like, I need to fill myself up. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to work on my physical body, so I have the and I'll come back, I'll eat something, then I'll get started.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. I needed to sit with myself a little bit
Mm-hmm.
before I just went and started tackling the work again.
Yeah. Yeah. So having that feeling of inadequacy, fear, that it sounds like what you did is you processed it. You sat with it for a minute.
Mhm.
Yeah. Unprocessed feelings, especially unwanted feelings, they just wait for you. So if you were to bounce into something else to kind of distract yourself or to kind of buffer, to numb that unwanted feeling, it'll wait for you. It'll be there tomorrow when you wake up. So it's
Yeah.
really a good idea. So back to that kind of intentional way of thinking and reverse architecting it, you are showing up, creating a team, a support system around you. You're feeling willing to feel it all, right? You're
Mm.
also feeling willing to even process a feeling all the way through, even the unwanted. What do you think the person would have to be thinking to feel willing to feel it all? What do you think that they would have to be thinking?
I think they would have to be thinking, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Take a breath. And I wrote down today when I was writing, one of the questions I had to answer was, what if you knew with certainty that you wouldn't fail? What would you do differently? And I wrote down that I would enjoy the process
Mm-hmm.
because I wouldn't be so focused on
Right,
the fear,
right, right.
you know?
Yeah, and
So,
that's a
yeah.
great prompt, right? To trip the trigger of your prodigy brain, or you call it your powerful brain. That's a great prompt because without that prompt, we will be driven by our primitive fear-based brain.
Mhm.
Nothing has gone wrong. That's another great thought. Nothing has gone wrong. That is just my primitive brain. It's never going to go away. It's offering me these fear-based thoughts. It's trying to keep me safe. It's trying to have me avoid pain, seek pleasure. It's being very efficient. It's grabbing thoughts that I've thought a million and one times, but I don't have to react to those thoughts.
Mhm.
So it's distinguishing the difference, having discernment between that's my primitive brain. I don't need to react from it. And let's trip the trigger of my prodigy brain by prompting it, just like you did, exactly how you went to a prompt that was given to you. You engaged in coaching, you're processing the feelings. You hired a writing coach. Like, you're doing all of the things. Nothing has gone wrong because the fear-based thoughts show up. You're learning to not react to them. You're doing it. It's the awareness, it's the discernment between the back and forth between your primitive and prodigy, your primitive and powerful brain thoughts.
And I'm also trying to appreciate the millimeter shifts. You know, like we learn in self-development, and if you listen to anything like Tony Robbins, we've got these like 2 millimeter shifts. And I had finished this book called The Gap and the Gain, and it's so easy when you're one of those people who are always thinking about the next thing to stay in the gap versus appreciate the gain, because you're like, okay, I did that. Now I got to move on to the next thing. And I, was thinking, and it occurred to me, not because of me, but because my environment, because I've lived here now in Las Vegas for a year. Couple days ago, like a week or so ago, was like the anniversary. And my mom had mentioned it. And then I got a gift from my realtor of like, oh, he sent me a couple of cool gifts. And I was just like, oh yeah, that's kind of crazy. Wow, that went by really fast. And here I am a year later getting ready to buy another property. And I was like, oh, that's kind of fast. But in the process of it, I feel like it's too slow. Like I wake up every day and I'm chipping away at the thing, right? And I'm just like, come on, let's go. Let's go. And then in the grand scheme of things, when I take a step back, and it is often driven by others, not necessarily from myself as the catalyst, I am like, oh, yes, there is progress. There is accomplishment. But it's hard to relish in that.
Yeah, but those are others that you have intentionally put on your team. So don't discount that. Like, these are the people you have intentionally surrounded yourself with or by because it works for you. So, and I love that there is not a more beautiful illustration of the gap and the gain. You get so focused on the chipping away at the little things that you're either caught up in the right now or the how far you have yet to go, which is the gap, versus looking back and being like, holy cow, it's been a year, only 1 year, 365 days since I bought this place, and I'm in the process of buying another place. Like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
But yet we don't allow ourselves to go there because we're so laser focused on either what we're so caught up in, the kind of the drama, or how far we have to go, the gap.
Yeah. It's insane.
Yeah.
But it's insane what our brain does.
Yeah. And it's all about awareness, right? The only thing that I would really want your listeners to walk away with is you have made an important step in the right direction if you have awareness as to what it is that you're thinking and feeling. And you came to this call with that. You came to this call going, I think I'm suffering from imposter syndrome. And I want you to know that's so normal, especially under the circumstances that you're operating within.
Yeah. I mean, I've just been reading every day. If it's not real estate, it's authoring, it's, and it's like, but then when I actually do get into it and surrender, I'm like, oh, this is really cool. Like, this is really great information. Like, I can, this is so useful for the next book. This is so useful for the next property. I mean, it's like when you can embrace it and not resist, it can feel enjoyable. But it's that surrender
Yeah.
that sometimes is difficult to lean into.
Exactly. Yeah. And that compassion for your humanness.
Yeah. Oh, self-compassion. That's so big.
Yeah. Yeah. You're doing a great job. I want you to have that heightened sense of awareness around what it is that you're thinking and feeling, and discern the difference between the primitive and the prodigy or powerful brain thoughts. That's
Yeah.
all that's happening right now. Nothing has gone wrong. Nothing is broken. You're just having these primitive brain thoughts, bubbling up, and that's not a problem in and of itself. You just want to make sure that you're catching it before you start reacting.
Mm-hmm. So powerful.
Yeah.
The pause.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
And the
The pause.
normalcy of imposter syndrome. Of course, it's showing up.
Yeah. It makes sense.
Yeah.
It does. And I was just been resisting that,
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. I had like anxiety
Mm-hmm.
about this.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm like, okay.
Yeah. So just let's come up with a quick thought around imposter syndrome. We know that it's a reality. It exists, especially when we're engaged in unusual circumstances, right? That could be our circumstance, just imposter syndrome, just in general. Or we could like break it down into buying new real estate, starting the new program, and authoring a book, right? But what is the thought that you want to be practicing this week as you move forward?
Yeah. The first thing that comes to my mind is trust the process.
Awesome. Okay.
Trust the process.
How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel more relaxed. It makes me feel more eager to learn the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things my writing coach said, and I really appreciated it, and it stuck in my head, is because this is what I would do, like in college. You get a syllabus and it tells you this is what you're going to do for the next however many weeks. I'm like, oh, you kidding? I'm going to get ahead. I can do that. I'll read this chapters and do all this. And one of the things she said was, don't try to go ahead. It's not going to serve you. You're not going to get any kind of something from it, extra credit, or just be right here. Follow the process, trust the process. And when she said that, I was like, man, that's true for so much.
Mm-hmm.
It's true for this,
Mm-hmm.
of course, because it's a methodical process. You can't get to step 5 without going to step 1, 2, and 3, and 4 first.
Yep.
But I do think it's applicable to the other things that I'm experiencing too.
Yeah.
It's just that, yes, you got to do this thing here before you could do that thing there. And that's okay.
Yep.
It's okay.
So that is the thought. If that is generating a sense of calm within you, that's the thought that I want you to be practicing, especially when you notice the inadequacy or the fear showing up. It's like, oh, wait a minute. What's that thought that I intentionally came up with that generates calm within me?
Yeah.
Trust the process. Good.
Just trust the process.
Good work, sister. You're doing it.
Woo! Wow, this life stuff is good. This is good. Look in, and I still have half a cup of coffee left.
That makes life even better, doesn't it?
Good job, me. And I have to say, I'm pretty proud because I was resistant at one point she said to write longhand, like to the different prompts that we get. And I was like, ew, why? Why can't I just type? It's faster. Right? Who does that? And then I did it. I got a special journal for writing.
I love it.
I'm trusting the process.
There you
So
go.
there you go.
And you'll now give yourself evidence that trusting the process works. and you'll start to use that in other areas of your life. And it's just, this whole thing is going to be gold for you. You thought you were going to get a book out of the deal. What's going to come out of this is like a massive life lesson that has taught you how to trust the process in every area of your life. It's huge.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Good stuff, Tracy. Thank you.
You're welcome. So good to see you.
So good to see you. How many of you have faced the thought of having imposter syndrome? Just know that it's totally normal and natural. I've told myself to trust the process, and hopefully that helps you when you're having this thought as well. I want to leave you with one of my favorite quotes by Mahatma Gandhi. Your beliefs become your thoughts become your words become your actions become your habits become your values become your destiny. Thanks for tuning in. Remember that you are your only limit, so take action today. Tune in for the next episode. There's a lot of inspiration coming your way. Share, follow, comment, rate, and review if you haven't already. It means so much to me. I'll see you next time.